Hello and good afternoon, everyone. As introduced by our host, I am Connell and I'm the Managing Director for Asia Pacific at Kaspersky. I'm glad to be part of this event that gathers the decision makers and host sharing of expert insights and latest technologies and services, real life and the most crucial cybersecurity challenges and actionable takeaways to benefit the safety of our business and cyberspace in general. For my part, I'm here to briefly discuss with you the disease that you surely have heard of from the known media outlets up to the four corners of your boardrooms, ransomware. I consider this as a plague that has started quite with a level of innocence, but is now evolving to be a major menace in the cyber world. We cannot talk about ransomware without remembering May 2017. Many years before this still ongoing pandemic that we find ourselves in, an unprecedented virtual epidemic had happened. The infamous WannaCry outbreak. This Trojan encryptor targeted computers running the Microsoft Windows operating system by encrypting data and demanding ransom payments in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Now, when it exploded, it appears to be a global epidemic such as that our internal telemetry alone showed more than 45,000 cases of the attack in just one day. Undoubtedly, the true number is much higher. Plus, in just the first day of the attack, we also found WannaCry samples in 74 countries around the world alone. In short, it was a never-before-seen cyber attack with such a global reach and aftermath. That was what we call the ransomware 1.0. These ransomware attacks first began in the 80s, but started becoming more and more common from 2010 onwards, aided primarily by the emergence of cryptocurrencies, which help cybercriminals operate without leaving behind a trackable money trail. Now, while it was a costly attack, estimated to be in the region of $8 billion worldwide, with over 200,000 computers in 150 countries affected, it was just, unfortunately, the infant stage of this type of threat. Before we deep dive into the evolution of ransomware 1.0, here's an interesting fact for you. As early as 2016, yes, a year before the infamous WannaCry outbreak, our experts at Kaspersky had been talking about targeted ransomware. In fact, in early 2017, our in-house researchers have discovered that more and more cybercriminals are turning their attention from attacks against private users to targeted ransomware attacks against businesses. Now, the difference from WannaCry, which is more of a hit and miss and a spray and pray kind of attack, is that these targeted attacks meant hunting for the big and lucrative targets and breaching their defense perimeters deliberately. That time, these groups are primarily focused on financial organizations worldwide, but as early as 2017, we've already encountered cases where payment demands amounted to over $500,000. This trend was triggered by the fact that criminals consider targeted ransomware attacks against banks and financial institutions as potentially more profitable than mass attacks against private users. Now fast forward to 2019, the rise of the Maze ransomware, considered one of the most notorious malware families threatening businesses and large organizations. Remember back in 2017, the first few targeted ransomware groups are only targeting financial organizations because obviously the money's with them. Maze, on the other hand, pioneered two game-changing trends in this field. First, between 2019 and 2020, the profile of their victims goes beyond financial firms. Maze's victimology included a major South Korean multinational electronic conglomerate, an American wire and cable manufacturer, and even a county in the US of A. Many other cases followed, and within a year, Maze breached at least 334 companies and organizations. Second, the Maze gang was one of the first groups which started the use of pressure tactic. This refers to cyber criminals threatening victims that they will publicly leak most sensitive data stolen from their compromised systems via the group's own website. This gang actually did leak their victims' data on their website or through a tip to the media. This attack plays on companies' digital reputation as it threatens to divulge data of a breached entity, compromising its security and its name at the same time. As more groups followed the vile steps of Maze, which website has been taken down since, we've seen the rise of Ransomware 2.0, which goes beyond kidnapping a company's or an organization's data. These groups utilize the increasingly valued digital reputation to force their prey to pay hefty ransom. So in short, from a commodity threat, ransomware has become an invasive and a targeted attack with increased sophistication and greater financial and reputational impact. Bringing it home, our 2020 data revealed that at least 61 entities from the Asia Pacific region were breached by a targeted ransomware group in 2020. Australia and India logged the highest number of incidents across APAC, and victims range from manufacturing such as light industry, public service, media and technology, and heavy industry, including mining, oil, shipping, to name just a few. Now, we have groups that are particularly eyeing our companies, trying to break into our networks, possessing a website or media contacts to leak out sensitive files, should we not pay the ransom. How worse can it get? At present, we see the rise of ransomware as a service, or RAS, a trend which is not new and one that we've mentioned way back in 2016 also, but it looks more real now, more than ever. I'm sure you've heard about the airline in Thailand and another airline in Ethiopia affected by the Lockbit ransomware just last August. During the same time, the same gang posted on their website 6 terabytes worth of data of a multinational IT consulting and services company, and they were asking for a ransom amounting to $50 million US. Lockbit follows the ransomware as a service model, providing the attackers with infrastructure and malware while receiving a share of the ransom. Breaking into the victim's network is the contractor's responsibility, and as far as the ransomware's distribution across the network, Lockbit has designed their own interesting technology. This ransomware is used for highly targeted attacks against enterprises and other organizations. Notable past targets include organizations in the United States, China, India, Indonesia, Ukraine, and now we're seeing it more and more here in our region. So what does this mean to our threat landscape as businesses and organizations? The tangible and visible rise of ransomware as a service means damaging ransomware attacks are now being democratized. I always get that word wrong. Making it accessible to everyone with the money to target and infect our networks, kidnap and leak our data, and damage our coffers and precious reputation. With the rise of RAS, cyber criminals or even our competitors can hire criminals or tools to wage such attacks against us. But I am here not to spread fear, but to let everyone know that while cyber criminals are working together to keep this lucrative business of ransomware evolving and growing, we, the good guys, can do the same too. We believe we can avoid falling prey to these attacks and keeping our users and our organizations safe, but only by working together. Ransomware is a lucrative criminal business. To make it stop, the world needs to unite to disrupt the criminals' kill chain and make it increasingly difficult for them to implement and profit from their attacks. For our part, we are among the founders of the No More Ransom project. It's a place to find the latest decryptors, ransomware removal tools, and information on ransomware protection for free. And it is done in collaboration with fellow public and private firms. We also extended our threat intelligence sharing and capacity building partnership with Interpol, as we believe that cooperation is the only way to keep our cyberspace secured. These collaborations, plus our unique human-machine technology, meaning machine learning, in-house big data, and the brains of our internal expert, also allowed us to detect, block, roll back any changes, and eliminate ransomware threat in a system at 100% rate. And this is based on the latest independent test done by AV Test. This means we are the only company which provides total protection from ransomware, such as Lockbit, WannaCry, and more. But enough about us. Let's talk about you. For you, you have remained with me. I call to you to seek help from experts like us and the law enforcement agencies in building your defences, in responding to an unfortunate attack, and in assessing how you can beef up your guards against ransomware and the many, many more threats lurking around us. We can bring on a safer tomorrow, free of ransomware and other malware, if we know how to effectively work together. On that note, I'd like to thank you for your time today, and thank you.